Good morning. My name is Dianne Kujubu, Belli, and I'll be the chairperson for today's service. And I think we are just waiting for Reverend Kory to lead in the dedication of the new Onaijin articles. So please enjoy being together, being in our hondo as we wait just a few minutes for this really momentous occasion when we're going to be seeing our new items to the altar.
Namondos, 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 namondos. Today, on this occasion, the members of the Benediction Buddhist Temple have reverently come before Amida Buddha to show our appreciation and retire the Tocho, Ujishiki, and Mizuhiki, and Korodai that have provided us 50 years of service. We also dedicate our new pieces, which will provide us a place to continue to come together and recite the Nembutsu. With deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we recite the name Dharma Amida. With sincere mind and heart of reverence and respect, I take refuge in the eternal abiding Buddha. With sincere mind, heart and mind of reverence and respect, I take refuge in the eternal abiding Dharma. With sincere heart and mind of reverence and respect, I take refuge in the eternal abiding Sangha. Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Kansho.
We respectfully call upon the Tathagata Amida to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. We respectfully call upon the Tathagata Shakyamuni to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. We respectfully call upon the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Today, on this occasion of the 2022 Eitaikyo service, the members of the Venice Honganji Buddhist Temple have reverently come before Amida Buddha to show our appreciation for those that have provided a place for us to receive the Dharma and continue on this path of Nembutsu. Those passed away beloved are
We will now read the names from the Eitaikyo book, and your loved one's name is called. Please come up and shuffle. Atsuko Akioka, Jitsuzo Akioka, Kenneth Ichiro Amamoto, Yoshino Amate, Clifford Alai, Sydney Bender, Etsu Denuchi, George Tokyo Doi, Kazue Doi, Nomoru Doi, Ei Endo, Tono Endo, Reverend Hoshin Fujikado, Akira Fujimoto, Angoro Fujimoto, Haru Fujimoto, Masayoshi Fujimoto, Suki Fujimoto, Reverend Fumio Fujimura, James Kazutomi Fujioka, Nei Fukuda, Shimano Furia, Ichino Hamazawa, Takeno Hamazawa, Gary Haruo Harada, Edward Tsugio Haraga, Shigeko Haraga, Sachiko Hayo, Belli Satoyo Isashima, Minoru Isashima, Akira Hojo, Eizo Hojo, Osame Hojo, Kimuyo Okoda, Masaru Okoda, Nobuichi Tori, Senior Jane Ichigo, Reverend Tatsuo Ichikawa, Yasashi Ichikawa, Shigeru Ichinotsubo, Sumie Ichinotsubo, George Minoru Igawa, Joe Imanishi, Toru Ino, Nie Ino, Manayo Inokuchi, Mark Masashi Inokuchi, Sam Satoru Inokuchi, Taro Inokuchi. Howard Cole Iseda, Minato Lini Iseda, Maneko Ishida, Jack Ishii, Lin Takaichi Ito, Eiichi Ito, Jaden Tadao Ito, Keiichi Ito, Shie Ito, Sasaki Tom Ito, Yaeno Ito, Sumie Iwai, Shigeo Iwahara, Hisako Mei Izuhara, Tad Tadashi Izuhara, Kazuko Kanematsu, Takeo Kagawa, Sato Kanda, Yuriko Kanemoto, Harumasa Kariya, Hideo M. Katayama, Eiji Kato, Bu Kishimoto, Toreiichi Kishimoto, Misao Eri Kita, Tamae Kita, Unosuke Kita, Ishiko Kobayashi, Kichi Kobayashi, Masu Kobayashi, Tane Saburo Kobayashi, George Koda, Harue Koda, Hiroshi Koda, Mary Koda, Noboru Koda, Sonore Koda, Tameichi Koda, Yoshio Kodani, Frank Yoshio Yokawa, Irene Ayato Kokawa, Sumi Kato Kubota, Kazunori Kuda, Shigeno Kuda, Kiwayo Kujubu, Mary Kujubu, Masaichi Kujubu, Chikao Kujubu, Usaya Kunichika, Itsuko Kunichika, Tatsunosuke Kunichika, Albert Kurashige, Kikue Kurashige, Takeno Kuwahara, Kazuko Kuwara, Kijiro Kuwata, Gonzalo William Masamitsu, Baby Masuda, Isao Masuda, Matsuo Masuda, Yojiro Masuda, Brenda Hidoko Masuoka, Reverend Ryuhei Masuoka, Baby Matsubara, Hanako Matsubara, Jiro Matsubara, Kyoko Matsubara, Saburo Matsubara, Shizuko Matsubara, Reverend Ayako Matsubayashi, Reverend Shi Shin Matsubayashi, Michiko Matsuki, Hiroshige Matsumoto, Misao Matsumoto, Kiyoshi Matsumoto, Jack Kenichi Matsuura, Reverend Ben Maeda, Akimi Maeda, James Maeda, Judy Sachie Mikawa, Kiku Miyake, Seitaro Miyake, Masa Miyake, Tanzo Miyake, Shinamori, Tadaichi Morimasu, Edward Toshiyuki Morimoto, Fusako Morita, Harry Seiichi Morita, Hiroshi Morita, Masaichi Morita, Naoko Morita, Sam Masanori Morita, Torano Morita, Suyako Morita, Yukio Frank Morita, Masaaki Jun Nakagiri, Mitsugi Nakagiri, Sayo Nakagiri, Misaye Nakagiri, Nancy Fumiko Nakagiri, Hideji Nakamizo, Mari Tina Nakamura, Hamako Nakamura, Tamayo Nakamura, Kazuo Nakano, Kazuko Nakanouchi, Setsuji Nakao, Masayo Nakao, Inosuke Nakatsu, Isamu Harry Naraki, Suyato Anita Naraki, Yukio Minioka, Tomoji Tom Ninomiya, Edward Nishihara, Aitaro Nishihara, Hana Nishihara, Mitsuo Nishihara, Shizue Nishihara, Toshie Nishihara, Nichie Nishikawa, Satoru Nishikawa, Frank Nobuo Nishina, Joy Naomi Nishina, Ronald Todd Nishina, Tadao Todd Nishina, Masuno Fuji Nishina, Matsuko Noguchi, Graham Shunji Noriyuki, Lillian Kiyono Noriyuki, Noburu Obana, Sam Isamu Obana, Susumu Obana, Oshie Ochi, Shiokichi Ogata, Maki Ogata, Shikazo Ogata, Y. Ogata, Fumie Ogawa, Fusao John Ogawa, Amy Okafuji, Sadao Oscar Okafuji, Genjiro Okamoto, Sue Okamoto, George Kiyoshi Oki, Iso Oki, Shiro Jack Oki, Tsunejiro Oki, George Shigeo Oku, Toshimune Okubo, Tomoe Omote, Toshimitsu Omote, Toshiyuki Omote, Dal Tadashi Onore, Jack Kazuto Oriba, Fumio J. Ozaki, Haru Ozaki, Minoru Ozaki, Teruo Ozaki, Tomako Ozasa, Teiji Sakamoto, Mitsuno Sasaguchi, Nobue Sasaguchi, Yoshitatsu Sasaguchi, Henry Aichi Sasajima, Hisako Sasajima, Kazuo Charles Sato, Ethel Yanaru Sato. Eizo Senmaru, Matsuko Senmaru, Kaoru Shimoide, Aaron Scott Kaoru Shimoide, Ben Stomu Shimoide, Kanekichi Shimoide, Kenneth Tomio Shimoide, Matsuko Shimoide, Kazushige Shimono, Haruyo Shinmoto, Kyoto Shinmoto, Tsuneo Tony Shinmoto, Tsunetaro Shinmoto, Urban Jukaku Shirasu, Mrs. Yoshie Shirasu, Atsuye Mary Sonen, Ruby Spector, Kikuichi Sugino, Setsuko Tsunahara, Genjiro Suzuki, Sadano Tachikawa, Hanishiro Tachikawa, Sadao Takakawa, Takese Takeda, Den Shigeki Takemoto, Sojiro Takemoto, Yoshi Takemoto, Tatsuo Tamata, Kyoko Tanabiki, Akiko Tashiro, Aileen Shuko Tateishi, Akiko Tateishi, William Tateishi, Masao Terakami, Yoshie Terakami, Frank Masaru Tokiyo, Tom Toyoshima, Kinya Tsukiyashi, Kuniko Tsukiyashi, Atsuyo Tsushima, Kennosuke Tsushima, Sumiko Tsushima, George Hiroshi Ueda, Janet Takako Ueda, Cynthia Matsue Uehara, Harue Ueki, Ikuno Ueki, Sadamu Ueki, Sueichi Ueki, Kazuji Uematsu, Su Suniko Uematsu, Sunao Ushijima, Mark Mamoru Ueda, Masayo Ueda. Joseph Tachiki, Curtis Tachiki, George Waki, Yoko Waki, Mieko Watanabe, Nobue Watari, Sumie Watari, Katsuko Yamada, Paul Tsutomu Yamada, Herbert Shigeyasu Yamamoto, John Kiyoshi Yamamoto, Mitsuko Yamato, Sheiichi Yamato, Yasu Yamamoto, Gary Yutaka Yamashita, Michiko Yamashita, Roy Yamashita, Terumi Yamaoka, Shigeo Yanaru, Mary Mariko Yasuda, Kiki Yoshikawa, Toyo Ichiro Yoshikawa, Yutaka Yoshikawa, Masaki Yoshino, Takashi Tak Yoshino, Yoshiko Yoshino, Kaitsuro Yumori.
With deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of the Buddha, we recite the name Namo Amida Butsu. If you will please put your hands together and repeat after me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Good morning again, and welcome to today's service. Again, my name is Dianne Kujubu Belli, and I'll be your chairperson for this morning. I want to welcome everyone who is here in the Hondo. It's been so long since we've all been together. And you can then sit next to your virtual Sangha person and we'll take your picture. I'd like to welcome some special guests, some new guests we have today. And so when I call your name, please stand up or give us a wave. Renee. Where are you, Renee? She's back there. Okay. Kevin. Kevin's back there. Allegra. Allegra, there you are. Welcome. Derek. There you are. Clay. And Jenny. Okay, and Sean, right? You're Sean. Hey. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. You made it on a very special day. And thank you to all of you who are calling in on Zoom. Danny Nakagiri, I know you're out there, so thank you all for joining us today. As Reverend Kory said, Eitaikyo is a very special service. It's a perpetual record of our temple members and loved ones who passed away. You heard their names read today by Judy Hopfield and Julia Ueda. The names are written in the Eitaikyo book, which has a very special place on the Onaijin or altar. The legend has it that ministers are instructed to run into a burning fire to rescue the books if necessary. And they're both nodding their heads. Today is not only our Eitaikyo service, we have dedicated the new articles for our Onaijin, and I think Reverend Kory has some new robes. Yes. And we are going to be retiring our virtual Sangha. And I think it's really, really appropriate that Bishop Ward is our special guest and our speaker today. I may have been hallucinating, but I once saw a photo of a virtual Sangha, and sitting in one of the pews was Bishop Marv, and he was asleep. And no, that was not at Venice. We'll continue this morning service with incense offering, yes, by the different organizations. So representing World Famous Scout Pack 79, Girl Scout Troop 5325. Sangha teams. Junior YBA. Dharma School. The Adult Buddhist Association, or the ABA. The Fujinkai, or the Buddhist Women's Association. And finally, the Bukyokai, or the temple. We'll now have the recitation of the three treasures. Please rise.
Hyobyaku-mon. Injin ukegetashi ikimasu sureni fuku. Uppo ikegetashi ikimasu sureni kiku. Ono ni konjo ni mukate no sezunba sarari izure no shou ni mukate kako no myodosen. Saishu moro tomo ni shishin ni sanbo ni kieshi tate matsuru deshi. Izu kara butsu ni kieshi tate matsuru. Asa ni negawaku wa shoto tomo ni. Taido mo taige shite fujo ni okosan. Izu kara o ni kieshi tate matsuru. Asa ni negawaku wa shoto tomo ni. Fukaku jozo ni irite chie umi no gotoku narana. Izu kara so ni kieshi tate matsuru. Asa ni negawaku wa shoto tomo ni. Taishu o kori shite issai uge naran. Ujo jinji myo no ho wa yaku 1000万号にもあよことくだし、わらには検問し、受持することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を継し立てまつらん。The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is it that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I put my faith in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of thy way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves thy supreme will. I put my faith in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I put my faith in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in thy life of harmony, in a spirit of universal family, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of variance of cultus, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Gatha's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Dr. Kory will now introduce our special guest speaker for today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited today. And I've been sitting for so long that I shouldn't be excited, but I really am. We're very fortunate to have this special guest speaker for our 2022 Eitaikyo service. Reverend, I get confused what to call you, Sensei, because you keep telling me to tell you, and the proper thing to do, really, I even tell my members, the proper thing to do is that he's the bishop, and he's holding this wonderful position for us, because especially, I was going to say at the end, but, no, I'll say at the end. So, yeah, he wants to be referred to as Reverend Marvin Harada, so I'll give it out right now because that's what he whispered to me behind me. But Bishop Marvin Harada, let me share a little bit of his bio that I pieced together. I didn't even ask him because I said, I have no sense in it. But he was born in Ontario, Oregon. Next year, if you want to know, he will be celebrating his 70th birthday. So even though he looks timeless, right? I mean, you look at him and you see him all the time, it's just like he doesn't age at all. He will be turning 70 next year. So, just to let you know. His grandparents were farmers from Hiroshima Prefecture and Yamaguchi Prefecture, who immigrated to the United States in the early 20th century. His parents continued this tradition of farming. He majored in religious studies at the University of Oregon and received a Master's of Arts in Buddhist Studies from the Institute of Buddhist Studies. After acquiring these degrees, he moved to Japan to study at the Ryuhoku University and Onganji Ha Seminary, or Chubukyo Bakuin, where he received MA in Shin Buddhist Studies from Ryuhoku University. Prior to beginning his tenure as bishop, Reverend Marv, as many of us know him as, received his degree. Well, okay, I read that. I don't know why I have that paragraph again. But after that, after receiving his degrees, he then served as minister at Orange County Buddhist Church. And I didn't realize it was since 1986, but that's what I found out. So eventually he became the head minister there. Throughout his 33 years at OCBC, he also served as co-director of the BCA Center for Buddhist Education and as supervising minister of Sacramento Betsuin and the Vista Buddhist Church. Then Reverend Marvin began his term as the bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America on April 1st, 2020. As a highlight, this is what as a highlight to his bishop career, he was the representative of the Mahayana tradition in a celebration of Gautama Buddha's birthday, or arranged by the Lighthouse on May 25th, 2021. If you'd like to see a picture of it, it's downstairs on our bulletin board, underneath our Girl Scouts. Sorry, Sensei. But he's there. You'll see the picture there. Okay. From the BCA website, his quote is, "May we face this challenging time together. It may give us even greater resolve to dedicate ourselves to support our temples and the BCA, so that we can continue to share the Dharma in whatever medium or manner that we can." This quote, as I was reading up on Sensei, said, I thought about it. If you think, so April 1st, 2020, of course, is after many of the craziness in the world began. I can't think of another minister in the BCA that could have taken us through the last 2 years and be proactive, innovative, pushed an online presence, or even what we have today as what we'll have today with our Zoom and PowerPoint presentations. Even though he's going to be 70 years old next year, because we're going to have a good birthday party for Sensei. He's really taken us to another level with all this technology, and we should all be appreciative of what many of the ministers, at least the generation before me, would call him as Superman. That's really his name. Because when I used to take classes at OCBC, actually, so I wouldn't be a minister without him, because he kept bugging me. I had his son as an LABCC camper when I was in my early 20s, and he gave me a book, River, Fire, River, Water, And then he kept emailing, and every time I saw him at different functions, he said, "You'd be good for this. It's the right." He had a plan. Yeah, and then 17. Of course, you guys know, 17 years later, I ended up at Venice. But Marvin Sensei. That's what a lot of people say about Marvin Sensei too. He has a vision, even though you don't know it. He's got a plan, and he executes it well. We wouldn't have even minister assistants, I don't think, if it wasn't for Harada Sensei. And so, to that note, thank you, Sensei. We're very, as I said, I'm very excited to have you here. And thank you for coming for our Eitaikyo to speak to our members. So, without further anything, Reverend Marvin Harada, or for many of us, Reverend Marv.
Morning, everyone. So nice to see all of you. As Dianne mentioned, it is great to get back to in-person services after a long time. We really miss seeing each other, and Sangha is such an important part of our life as Buddhists. I want to thank Reverend Kory for his kind introduction and invitation to be here today, and of course thank Dianne. And I especially want to extend a welcome to all of those who are here for the first time. Thank you for joining us in our service. To encounter the Buddha Dharma is a wonderful thing. I hope you find something meaningful today. I wanted to give a short message to the Dharma school children first, if I could. I think some are online as well.
Oh, they're all downstairs.
Oh, they're all downstairs. They can see in here? Okay, all the kids downstairs. And all the young at heart here. So I have a special friend that I'd like to bring out. He's hiding in the Kujubu. So I'd like to introduce to all of you a good friend who has come to Orange County Buddhist Church when I served as a minister there for many years. And he's gone with me to LABCC camp. And I'd like to introduce him to your Dharma school children today. His name is Freddie the Frog. Hi, everyone. Hi, Freddie. Hey, where are we? We're at the Venice Church. I thought you said we were going to go to Las Vegas. No, I might have said, wouldn't it be fun to go to Las Vegas? We're here at the Venice Onaijin Buddhist Temple for their service. Whoa, so nice to see people again. That's right, it is. I think this is my first time here. Well, gee, we should tell everybody a little bit about you, since it's your first time. Like, do you have any hobbies? Oh, my favorite hobby is cooking. I like cooking too. I can tell. Well, yeah, I'm sort of a foodie. What kind of things do you like to make? Oh, I like to make pizza. Oh, do you like to make pepperoni pizza, cheese pizza? I like to make gourmet pizza. Gourmet pizza? What kind of pizza is that? Well, like sashimi pizza. Sashimi pizza? Is that pizza with raw fish on it? No, just raw pizza. Ooh, kind of chewy, but it's good. Then I like to make whipped cream and maraschino cherry pizza. Whipped cream and maraschino cherry pizza. That sounds awfully sweet. But my favorite is natto pizza. Natto pizza. I bet some people here don't even know what natto is. You know, those slimy Japanese beans that look like boogers. Well, that is one way to describe natto, Freddie. Gee. Well, you know, when we meet like this and Freddie comes to service, he always has some kind of question to ask me. Do you have a question today? Well, you know, I've been coming all these years, but there's still that one word that's so hard to say. One word that's so hard to say, like Tathagata. No. Starts with an N. Starts with an N. Nirvana? No. You know that long, no. Oh, you mean Nam Yeah. That one. Oh, well, yes, it's such an important part of Shin Buddhism. It would just say Nam Amidabutsu. No. Well, you don't have to put the emphasis on the mu. You don't have to say Namu Amidabutsu. Just Namu Amidabutsu. Oh, okay, I'll try it again. Namu Amidabutsu. Well, now you're saying Namu Amidabutsu. Just Namu Amidabutsu. Oh gosh, so hard. I'll get it. Namu Amidabutsu. Now you're saying Namu Amidabutsu. Just Namu Amidabutsu. I'll get it. Namu Amidabutsu. Hey, you said it. Yeah, you said it, Freddie. Very nice. So what am I saying anyway? Oh, that's a good question. You mean, what does it mean? What does Namu Amidabutsu mean? Yeah. Does it mean like ribbit? We frogs say ribbit. Well, I don't think it has the same meaning as ribbit. But you know, the only true answer for what Namu Amidabutsu means, you have to find yourself. Does that mean you don't know what it means? No, I'm not saying that. You have to find what it means in your life. That's the real true answer. But for now, just think that Namu Amidabutsu means thank you. Thank you? Yes. Thank you to my parents. Thank you to my teachers. Thank you to all of life that sustains my life. Thank you to the Buddha. Thank you for the Dharma. And thank you to the Sangha. Ooh, well, that's kind of easy to remember. That's right. That's why when we feel grateful for something, we say, Namu Amidabutsu. Namu Amidabutsu. So that's the easiest way to remember the meaning. Oh, okay. I think I got it now. Well, tonight I think I'll go home and make some natto pizza for dinner. Okay. You want to try some? Well, okay, I'll try some. It's really good. Okay. Gotta go now. Bye. Thank you for listening to Freddie. He joined me at Orange County over the past some 30-something years. So allow me to share my screen. Everybody see that okay? Okay. So today is Eitaikyo. Eitaikyo. And actually Eitaikyo is an abbreviation of a little longer word called Eitaikyo. Eitaikyo. Those characters are the meaning. A means like eternally or perpetually. Tai means for generations. Doku means to read, or in this case, means to chant the sutras. Kyo is sutras. So, Eitaikyo means literally to chant the sutras perpetually, eternally. So, the sutras being chanted perpetually or eternally, it's a metaphor to express that Buddhism or the teachings are being transmitted for generations and generations. If the sutras are being chanted, then people are in the Hondo, they're paying their respects to the Buddha, they're listening to the Dharma. So that's the metaphor of the sutras being chanted eternally. So to me, Eitaikyo means to reflect on our past. We listen to the names of so many past wonderful members of your Sangha, and how their efforts have made this temple possible. And it's also how the teachings have come to us from the time of Shakyamuni Buddha. But at the same time, it means to reflect on the transmission of Buddhism to future generations. So I'd like to illustrate this by sharing an experience from high school when I went out for the track team. So I grew up in rural eastern Oregon, where my father was a farmer, and the high school I went to was called Belli Union High School. Small high school, about 400 students in 4 grades, so there's about 100 kids in each grade. So the best part about going to a small rural high school is that if you go out for a sports team, you're automatically on the team. Nobody gets cut from the sports team at Belli High School. In fact, the coaches are roaming the hallways in between class. Hey, why don't you come out for track? Hey, why don't you come out for tennis? And so, just to make a team, well, it took a lot. So, as a freshman, I went out for the track team. And we didn't have like frosh soft, JV, varsity. We only had the one varsity team. So at the first track meet, our coach said to 4 of us freshmen, I want you to get some experience, so I'm going to enter you into the 880-yard relay race. So each runner has to run half a lap. So I just wanted to get some experience. So he gave us a baton, and he let us decide on what order we would run. Well, I thought everyone would want to run the anchor race, where you bring the baton across the finish line. But to my surprise, all of my teammates, they all wanted to run the first leg. I want to run the first leg. No, I want to run the first leg. So since nobody wanted the anchor leg, I got the anchor leg. So we got in our positions, and the gun went off, and the race started. Almost immediately, I realized why all of my teammates wanted to run the first leg. The first runner at least didn't look too bad. It looked like our team was kind of in the race. But with each runner, we got further and further behind. Then, between the second runner and the third runner, they dropped the baton, and we got way behind. By the time I got the baton, all the other runners had finished on the other side of the track. And they were bringing their hurdles out for the race to begin. This is a true story. And then someone said, no, wait, there's one more layer. You can't read the hurdle set. So I brought the baton across the finish line for our last place in the team. But right away, our coach came over to us. He said, it's okay, it's your first track meet. I want you to get some experience. I'm sure next time you won't drop the baton and you'll do much better. So in a relay race, you have to pass on the baton. You can't drop the baton. This is how the baton of the Dharma has been transmitted for over 2,600 years. Buddhism begins in India. So you see India, you see the little white circle? That's northern India. That's where Shakyamuni Buddha lived and then attained enlightenment. And so Buddhism begins there. And over 2,600 years, this is the transmission. Some Buddhism goes to the north, into even Afghanistan, Tibet, Nepal, to China, then to Korea, then to Japan. Then it comes to us, to the West, in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Then Buddhism also went to the southern part of India, and to Sri Lanka, and to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. So this is the baton transmission of the Dharma of Buddhism. Starting from Shakyamuni Buddha, 2 monks who brought Buddhism from India to China, 7 masters in our Pure Land tradition, Shinran Shonin, the founder of our tradition of Shin Buddhism, Renyo Shonin, 8 generations after Shinran Shonin. These are just a few of the great transmitters of the Dharma who have passed the baton on to us. So the legacy and heritage of the transmission of Buddhism over the past 2,600 years, that's half of the meaning of Eitaikyo. And we respect and honor those previous members, especially of the Buddhist temple. The next image I'd like to share is the monarch butterfly. Monarch butterfly is so beautiful, right? Kind of an endangered species as well. This is the migration pattern of the monarch butterfly. They start in Mexico, and they start flying to the north. And they'll fly maybe several hundred miles, maybe 1,000 miles, and then they'll land on a tree, then they'll lay eggs. The eggs turn into a caterpillar, then it turns into another butterfly. See? And they go all the way up to even into Canada, and then back. So over the course of 1 year, the monarch butterflies start from Mexico, head north, and then return south. And in many cases, not only do they go back to the same area of Mexico, they go back to the same tree that their ancestors came from. And it takes 4 generations of monarch butterflies to complete that 1 year migration. 1 generation flies for a ways, like I said, stops, has eggs turn into caterpillars turn into butterflies, then the next generation flies further, and then start to come back. 4 generations. The 4th generation butterfly that goes back to that tree has never been there before, but somehow knows where to go. It's an amazing story from nature. So we've taken this monarch butterfly as a symbol for our Dharma Forward campaign, because each generation of butterflies must do its part for the species to continue. And each generation of Buddhists must do their part to transmit or carry on the teaching. So why has each generation of Buddhists sacrificed so much to transmit the teachings, to pass on the baton from one generation to the next. When I showed that slide of Buddhism, how it went throughout the Asian continent, monks literally carried the sutras on their back and went from India and walked to China, never to return to their homeland again. Because they wanted to share the teachings. They take the sutras to China, then they learn Chinese and begin to translate the sutras into Chinese. Chinese monks say, oh, this is a wonderful teaching. Then they also go to India and then help to bring teachings back to China. So this goes from country to country. But because the Dharma was something precious, something deeply meaningful, that made their lives grateful and fulfilling, that is why they wanted it to be transmitted to future generations and to others. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the benefits of living the Shin Buddhist way of life. Our tradition of Buddhism is called Shin Buddhism. You might be familiar with Zen Buddhism, you might be familiar with Tibetan Buddhism. Ours is not that well known, but it's actually the largest school of Buddhism in Japan. So the first benefit is the benefit of living a life of inside out instead of outside in. Inside out instead of outside in. When we live from outside in, we're chasing after external material things to create what we think is our inner happiness. So we pursue things like a new car, or a new home, or higher salary, or perfect spouse to fulfill our inner life. But no matter how much we even achieve some of those external material things, we find that we're not truly fulfilled. We might even be more miserable than when we didn't have those things. I just bought a home for the first time about 4 years ago. Now I said, hey, gosh, I gotta take care of this house. I'm not much of a repairman. I gotta repair things. Well, so when we live from inside out, every day we're fulfilling our own innermost aspiration. We're living our true life. We're living our sincere life. We're living this cherished life that we've been given as a gift. We begin to look at life as a gift. Everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. The benefit of living a life of gratitude. So Shin Buddhism teaches us to live a life of gratitude, not that we should be grateful in our lives, but when we encounter the teachings, then we cannot help but be grateful for our life. Gratitude flows out from within us. In the larger sutra, there is this short phrase, Shoyoku Chisofu, which means to sort of lessen your desires and know you have enough. It doesn't say remove your desires. We can never remove our desires. We always want things, but we should kind of at least lessen them a little bit. And then know that we have enough. Maybe some of you have been to this famous temple in Kyoto, the Ryoanji Temple, that has a beautiful, simple rock garden. It's a Zen temple. Every 4 years, I would take the junior IBA from Orange County on a trip to Japan as a cultural and religious trip to visit our Honganji. So we would go there and say, this is the most famous garden in Japan. And one young person said to me, hey, Sensei, where's the garden? No, this is it. This is the garden. Oh, this is it. It's so simple. First time you see it, you can't really appreciate it. But at Ryoanji, in the back, I noticed this little fountain. And then when I look closer to this little fountain, it has 4 characters written on it. And these are the 4 characters that are written on this. It's Ware Tada Taru o Shiru. I only know, the only thing I know in life is that I have enough, if we were to translate this into English. So the author of this poem is saying, I don't know much about philosophy, I don't know much about history, I don't know much about mathematics. I'm really not a very educated person. The only thing I know in life is I have enough of everything. Of everything. So my car is enough. My house is enough. My income is enough. Even my life is enough. So I don't mean it quite like that. But my used Toyota Camry, it's enough. My house is not that big, but it's really enough. The income that the BCA pays me, it's really enough. It's a privilege to have a job. It's a privilege to have a home, to be able to drive a car, to have found a spouse to share your life with, mother of my children. That's what that phrase means. The only thing I know in life is that I have enough. Shin Buddhism teaches us a life of gratitude from inside out. Hisako Nakamura is like the Helen Keller of Japan. She lived her life without any hands or feet. She lost her hands and her feet due to frostbite and gangrene as a young girl, only 3 years of age. And so she lived this tremendously sad and difficult, tragic life. But she encountered Shin Buddhism, and her life was transformed. And in one of her poems, she writes, I have them, I have them, I have them all. It's all I need. What a refreshing autumn morning. Can you imagine? You have this life, you're handicapped, you have no hands, no legs, and to be able to say, I have everything in life that I need. The benefit of the spiritual strength to live through anything in life. Shinran Shori calls the path of the Nembutsu the unobstructed path. So nothing in life is an obstruction. Not losing your job, not marital difficulties, not being told you have cancer by the doctor, or facing a recession. Nothing is an obstacle in life. And I'd like to share an example of a person that I knew in Orange County who lived this kind of unobstructed life. His name was Scott Morris, and we lost him to the terrible illness of Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Lou Gehrig's disease is such a sad illness because there's absolutely no cure. You get cancer, there's some hope for treatment, maybe radiation, surgery, chemotherapy. If you get ALS, there's no hope. The best you could hope for is that it's a slow progressing ALS. Some people live maybe 10, even up to 20 years, and others die after a few years. So Scott was diagnosed with ALS, and so although he was not raised a Buddhist, his wife was a Buddhist, and they started attending OCBC. And as I mentioned, it's a very sad illness. So shortly after he was diagnosed with ALS, we decided to create a sort of living through illness support group at the temple. And we would meet once a month, anyone who was facing a major illness. And Scott attended quite regularly. In one of the sessions, Scott was kind of sad, and he was thinking about all the things that he would be missing out in life. So I'm probably not going to live long enough to be at my son's high school graduation. He had young children at the time. I'm probably not going to live long enough to walk my daughter down the aisle on her wedding day. And so, I was thinking, gee, what can I say to Scott that might help him? So I encouraged Scott to start writing maybe letters to his children that he would want them to read on those milestones, because he was still at the point where he could, type and write. ALS starts from your feet and it works its way up. So his first symptom was he was tripping over things all the time because he was losing the sensitivity in his feet. Then it moves up your legs, then you can't move your arms, then you can't speak, and then eventually it takes your life and you cannot breathe. But mentally, you're alert the whole time. That's what's sad about ALS. So anyway, I encouraged Scott to write these letters. Write a letter to your daughter you want her to read on her wedding day. So the next month, we met in our support group, and Scott said, "Oh, I wrote something." So I thought maybe he wrote one of these letters, but he wrote a poem, and this is the poem that he wrote. I have ALS, and I am grateful. I am grateful to retire early to be with my family. I am grateful I have family and friends that are so supportive and hopeful. I am grateful I can still walk and get around. When that is gone, I am grateful I can still use my hands to feed myself. When that is gone, I am grateful I can still breathe and laugh and feel. When that is gone, I am grateful I had a wonderful life. And when that is gone, none one does. It's a tremendous poem. I put Scott Morris's poem right up there with any of our great Shin Buddhist scholars and Yokoni. So he came to encounter non-Bodhisattva, not just as a word, not just as a recitation, but as a deep and profound truth that gave him spiritual strength to face this tragic illness and to live his remaining time of his life with gratitude. The benefit of being a part of a Sangha. Sangha means to be a part of a community or a family. So in a Sangha, we develop lifelong friendships. Many of you are probably friends with people in the Sangha for your majority of your life. You listen to the Dharma and share the Dharma together. Once Shakyamuni Buddha was asked by one of his disciples, how important is it to have friends in the Sangha? And the Buddha replied, it's everything. It's everything. So first we have to dig deep into the teachings, receive it into our hearts and minds, and then we will naturally experience the benefits of the life of Shin Buddhism. So if we come to receive and appreciate the Dharma in our life, then we have the responsibility. We have an obligation to share with others, to pass the baton of the Dharma on to others, to be like a monarch butterfly, to ensure that the next generation of Buddhists will also come to encounter the Dharma as well. And when we do that, the sutras will continue to be chanted eternally, and the light of the Dharma will continue to illuminate the hearts and minds of people everywhere.
Thank you, Reverend Marv. We'll now have the recitation of the 6 Paramitas. Please rise.
よくある道。身元家様の御心に立ち返らせていただいて、一つの一日、清らかな眼と温かいさせて、包ま な愛をで暮らしましょう。そうです。4、1、あの子を立てますまい。そうです。4、1、不平不足を起こしますまい。そうです。4、1、私の仕事に全身全霊をかけて尽くさせていただきましょう。そうです。4、1、夜昼常に私を守る様を妹家の心を喜ばせていただきましょう。そうです。夜一日、ナモ阿弥陀仏を唱えさせていただきましょう。Six Paramitas. Turning our thoughts to the Buddha, let us throughout the day live with clear eyes, warm hearts, and humble attitude. Let us throughout the day not become angry. Let us throughout the day not utter words of discontent, dissatisfaction, and untruth. Let us throughout the day do our daily work with all our power. Let us throughout the day rejoice in the love and compassion of the Buddha, who is constantly watching over us day and night. Let us throughout the day repeat the holy name, Namo Amida Butsu. Promise. The Buddha is our eternal father and mother. The Buddha always keeps watch over us. We promise to listen to the teachings of the Buddha and perfect ourselves by following the Buddha's ideals. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
For words of appreciation, we have our temple president, Jerry Iseda.
Well, good morning, everybody. Wow, this is nice to see a full Hondo with real people. That's not to say anything discouraging about the virtual Sangha who served us so well for the last 2 years, but we'll get to that a bit later. We have a lot to be thankful for today, and I'm sorry that I wrote it down too small, so I'm not going to be able to read it, so I think I remember it. First, Bishop Reverend Mark, thank you so much again for being here. Just a little side note, we first met when I was in high school at the IBS program, so that was a few years back when we were still studying to be a minister, so but we're very lucky and happy to have you here today. And of course, Reverend Kory, in his new robes, he didn't like, so he actually got him new robes, so you don't have to say, don't see anything. But thank you again, Reverend Kory, for everything. To our chairperson, Dianne, Kujubu Belli, for leading us this morning, to Julie Hopfield and Julia Webb for reading the 300 names in our Eitaikyo book. That's quite a task. And to our AV team, Tom Yamaguchi and Ron G, who's in the back, thank you very much as well. And then downstairs, Vicky Tokirio and Linda's up here. She's representing up here. But Linda Shinomi and the BWA for taking care of our Otoki for this morning as well. So thank you all. What came to mind, a couple of things on Eitaikyo is with the 300 names as they were being read, was the memories of all those people, either who affected us either as personally as part of our family or who helped build this temple so many years ago. So take a moment and think about some of those folks. And we're celebrating our new Onaijin today. Many of those names that we read in the book were largely responsible for not only providing the old Onaijin, but also the whole temple, building this temple to make it what it is today. So we're lucky to have that. So thank you to all of them, and just take a moment to remember them all. And finally, the Onaijin committee. So this was a work of about 2 years long, partly because of COVID, but partly because the committee wanted to be very careful and make the right decision. And I hope everybody sees that and agrees they did make the right decision. This looks amazing. So starting with, and this, I know it's not on Onaijin, but the first part of the project was our new organ. So thank you to Joan Ito, Judy Hopfield, Julia Weta, and Ian Iseda, who helped us get our new organ that hopefully will last us another 50 years as well. And then to our Onaijin committee chairperson, Dale Noriyuki, and his team, and I think they all went downstairs. I would want to just sit up here and start this with Quinn Okamoto, Barbara Fukuji, Shinobu Koda, Sandy Saiki, her name's here, so I'm going to read that. I can do this off the top of my head. Ayana Sada, Barbara Fukuji, and Joni Ito. And I don't know if you saw them in action during this time, but they pasted pictures of the Mizuhiki and the Uchishiki. Those are the two big pots here in the front. And they put them in front of each other, and they took computer blow-ups, and they were trying to match all the different colors. They tilted their computer to see how the light would reflect in different angles. Dale actually put the two over each other on like Photoshop or something so they could see what it would look like together, but all the effort was completely worth it. And so thank you to the committee for all your hard work for that. And thank you to all of you for helping us be able to purchase that. So thank you very much. Reverend Kory, could you use the whole up so they can see the stack?
Our tocho too.
Oh, and the tocho, I forgot. See, I forgot, there's too many things. So.
Explain what the tocho is too.
Okay, you can do that.
So the tocho what we're talking about is the orange border around the Buddha. That's actually brand new as well. So if you never noticed before, well, this one is now brand new. And then Jerry wants to show you the koro dai, so this is called a kanagoro, a metal incense burner. Koro is incense burner. Okay, and then the dai or the stamp is right here. So we had one that didn't match the others. So that's why this one is first time is today as well for using this.
Thank you. And just so we don't forget, the Mizuhiki and the Uchishiki that we had from the beginning of the temple was donated by the Morimoto family. So many of you may know Ed and Vicky. We read Ed's name during the reading of the Eitaikyo list today. They made it possible for us to have the first box here for the Onaijin, so we thank them as well. And then finally, thank you everybody for coming today. It's nice that we can all be together again. And so I'm getting ahead of myself, I have a few more things to go, but also please join us downstairs for otoki before you go home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Do we have any announcements?
Morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone here at church. First of all, Reverend Bishop Harada. Just some bullshit. Thank you for your service this morning. That's a question. Sorry. But to move on, for those who attended the Abba's Udon Festival last week, I'd like to thank the Abba crew and everyone that attended. It was delicious. we had a lot of dashi left over. I don't know how long it lasts, but if you want to try some, it's really delicious. You don't even need the noodles. Tofu and nappa in there, and it's delicious. So thank you for everyone that supported the fundraiser. Next thing is in 2 weeks, we're having our Mochitsugi. So for those that want to come help out, we're looking for a lot of help. Show up 8 o'clock, gloves on. We're gonna have everyone wear masks. We don't want you to be inhaling the cornstarch and everything. So we will have all the proper tools available, but you still have an opportunity to purchase the mochi. We're at the production level where we have commitment to about 70%. We have 30% of our mochi is still available. So, and we're going to be consuming probably about another 10%. So it means you got to get it when you can. That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Or, oh, David, you want to announce the candy?
The Cub Scouts are having their annual Feast Candy fundraiser, so it's going on right now. It will end December 3rd. We'll have a sign-up sheet or a link, and we'll send it through the temple via email or their newsletter. I think it's free shipping for orders over $75. So you get a small order, you can combine it with other people in the temple, so that way you can get shipped here for free and get some straight it up. Thank you.
And just 2 other announcements, well, 3 other, right? Anyway, our friends at Pasadena Buddhist Temple are having their annual kamapoko and sashimi sale. So just got the order forms today. The order deadline is December 1st. So that's soon. So I'll make some copies and leave it downstairs. We don't have a volunteer yet to go to Pasadena to take it up, but someone will take up our orders for us. Oh, he did? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Tom. So Tom will pick up the orders for us on December the 11th, and so they'll be ready then. And then also we have our Project Bombu opportunity drawing. The tickets for 2023 are available, so that's where 1 monthly selectee receives $500, and in December 2 people receive $1,000. So 2022 Bombu, which helped us pay for our new roof. The drawing will be at Osebo on December the 18th. So that leads me to my final announcement. So for the coming month, Tom mentioned December 3rd is our Mochitsugi. At the end of the year, hopefully it'll come up soon. December 18th is our Osebo Taikai. This will be our first one since 2019, I think. And then, of course, on December 30th at 7:30, we'll have our Joyaya year-end service. And January 1st at 9:30 in the morning, if you're not too hungover, come join us for Shushoya, which is our New Year's Day service. And we'll have Ozoni with our Venice Fresh Made Mochi. So please join us that day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jerry and Tom. Okay, everyone please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Okay, you may be seated. We surround all people in all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly, we send both loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those in doubt and ignorance, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change when called death. We send forth oceans of wisdom, mercy, and love. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
And Jerry is now going to retire our virtual Sangha.
This is kind of a sad time, but it's a happy time too. It's happy in that we can do that so that all of you can come and join us now and whenever in person now once again. But going back to 2020, it was early 2020 when we started to do virtual services. And I remember there was, I think, Reverend Kory and Ron and Terry Zachario and me. That was it in this big Ondo. And when Reverend Kory finished the service, he said that was so weird. There was nobody to talk to. And I remember seeing a baseball game on TV where they had fake fans in the stands, if you remember that. And so it just got me thinking, I wonder if they could do Sangha membership. And thankfully they did that. And so with the hard work of many, through the talents of people like Kansho and Phyllis Hayashibara and Ranji who helped us take the pictures of people, and to the many Sangha members who were willing, we were able to fill the Ondo every Sunday and every Tuesday with our virtual Sangha members. Just a little story, we have over 70 of them. Only 2 have passed away during that time. Actually, Mrs. Ashikaga was 102 when she posed for the photo. And she passed away shortly thereafter that. So she never got to see herself, but she's been sitting with us during that time. And of course, my mom, but she got to see herself and her likeness, so she was happy to be part of it. So the ranges of our virtual Sangha, the little peanut you see in the front there, that Monica's holding is Reese Haley, who was 1 day old when he posed for that picture, and so that was his virtual Sangha picture. Reese is a little bigger than that now, but he's changed a little bit. And Mrs. Ashikaga at 102 was our oldest member. We were talking about this the other day, and he said some people have changed a little bit. Mostly the kids in 2 years change a lot, so they look a little different than they did back then. Everyone else looks, I think, similar. Maybe some people have a little more gray hair than the picture did at the time, but other than that, everything looks the same. So, what we did know would happen is that we have to keep them in line for 2.5 years. So, which is amazing. It brought comic joy to us, but also a little bit of joy here that we could have a full Sangha. And I know a few of the members even said it gave them comfort knowing that at least their likeness was here when we weren't allowed. Remember back in the early days, we couldn't come, so we weren't allowed. In fact, we were breaking the law, I think, having the service. So, it was a nice feeling, something that we didn't really think about when we started it, but it served us quite well. So we have to thank the Fathead Company, if you know the Fathead Company that makes the big stickers of the athletes. They did these and they made them look so real that we had many people that screamed when they walked in the home for the first time because they thought it was real. And some people even said the eyes follow you. So they don't really, but they didn't feel like it. But many people said that. And the one thing that we didn't expect was that it got a lot of attention from all over, I won't even say the country, all over the world. So, we shared our idea with about 4 or 5 temples that actually were able to do it, a few more that couldn't do it, but it was something that people were very interested in. We're in the Rafu Shinpo, and I think we've been in the Wheel of Dharma, but most notably, Reverend Kory mentioned it before. This is on our bulletin board. So this is the Honganji Journal. This is a newsletter that's circulated by Nishi Honganji in Kyoto to all the temples around the world. And they saw our article in the Wheel of Dharma, and they asked to have an article for their use. So, and they've asked for updates. This is also on their website when they share information about the temple. So that's a pretty big accomplishment for us. And so anyone who did this, you're actually world famous. So if you go on the website, you can find it, but something we can be proud of. But as all good things come to an end, we have to say goodbye. So Ken Chen's been kind enough today. He's going to come and take pictures. So we'd like, whoever would like to, but if you have a likeness, that he'll take a picture for you standing next to yourself. So that'll be one thing. At the end of service, we'd like those who have a likeness to stay in the hondo, because we want to recreate the photo as much as we can. That's in here with both real people and with a cutout, so we thought that would be fun. And in case you're wondering, today you can take your cutouts home with you. So maybe when you go away for the weekend to Vegas or something, you can leave your cutout out there so the dog or cat thinks you're still there. You can take it with you today. And we want to say thank you very much to everybody for participating, that being great. So, well, we thought it was fun. If to the 10 people who read my weekly email updates, I said today we were going to say sayonara to the Sangha. We thought we'd do one better than that. We're going to sing sayonara to the temple. So Julie's going to play for us. So you all join in the singing of sayonara. I guess we should stand for this one.
When I was working outside the house, I was responsible for all of Cato Senior Healthcare's community outreach activities. And one of the activities we had was to establish an adult day care center in Orange County. And I would gather up the participants who were interested every month, and we would get in our van and go to Orange County Buddhist Church for a monthly service. Some of our participants had dementia, and others did not. But I figured that people in the hondo listening to the chanting and smelling the aroma of the incense would be so comforting. And so Reverend Marv was wonderful in opening up the OCDC hondo every month and conducting the service for our participants. And I'm so grateful. I remember one particular Dharma message that Reverend Marv gave, and he explained that there are all kinds of light, many different kinds of light. There is light from the candles on the altar. There is light that streams in through the windows from the sun. At night, if you look up, there is light shining on us from the moon and the stars. And then there is Bud Light. Today we remember those whose names are in the Eitaikyo book, and some of them may have liked Bud Light. But all the different kinds of light around us remind us every day of the wisdom that they gave to us and they shared with us, and we are so grateful. So as Jerry said, there are many, many people to thank for today's service. And especially we all want to thank Bishop Marvin Harada. It's a special day to share our new Onaijin articles and our new robes for our annual Eitaikyo service and to retire our virtual Sangha. You shared your wisdom with us today, and we are so forever grateful. So thank you. This concludes the service for today. As Jerry said, please meet up with your virtual person. Please go downstairs and we can all be together and share what you'll be. So, Say, would you like to close the service?
Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu.